Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello and welcome back. Today we will be learning a little bit about independent and dependent clauses. This is really important to understand because it's going to help you become a better writer as well as a better reader, honestly. There are a few vocab words that you'll need to know, so we're going to go over those first.
Yep. The first one we're going to talk about is the subject of a sentence. A subject is the person, place, or thing that sentence is about.
Yeah, so an example of that would be cat.
Cat. That is going to be the subject of all of the sentences that we make. So now we need to learn about the second part, and that's a verb. A verb is a main part of speech that is often used to describe or indicate an action. So something that the subject is doing.
So what the subject, a cat, might do is bite.
Yes, the cat might bite if you have kind of a mean cat. I don't know. All right, so an adverb, or if you pick on your cat.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I own dogs.
Dogs can bite if you pick
better.
on them too.
Dogs are better in the comment section.
All right. So the third word is the adverb. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Another way to think about it is an adverb describes action and it describes other descriptive words.
Yeah, so most often it describes an action, right? So the example we have today is the cat runs quickly. In this example, quickly is the adverb because it's describing how the cat is running. She or he is running quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's describing that action. The next thing we need to talk about is a conjunction. A conjunction is a word or expression that joins two sentences, clauses, or phrases, or words together.
So in the sentence, the cat bites and hisses, the two words we're connecting is bites and hisses. So the and is the word that we're using as a conjunction. Conjunction.
Yes.
Conjunction. Abduction.
All right, now we're going to go over clauses. A clause is a collection of phrases with a subject and a verb.
Absolutely. So we have two examples of this. They can be very simple as long as they have a subject and a verb. So an example would be the cat bites, right? So if the subject is cat, what is the cat doing? Biting. Okay. The next one is the cat. We only have one example, but there's many examples because you can use anything that has a complete thought. So if I said the cat hisses, what is the cat doing? Hissing. That is a clause.
So you really did have two examples.
Yes, I just made it up very quickly.
You're so smart.
I know.
All right, so there are different types of clauses, and now we're going to talk about those because they have different things about them that you need to remember. The first one is an independent clause. An independent clause is a clause that can stand on its own, by itself, independently. Independent clause. It has all three components of the subject, verb, and a complete thought.
Since an independent clause is the same as a complete thought or complete sentence, our example remains the same. The cat bites. It's a complete sentence or a complete thought. And the cat bites. You want to know what would be untrue though? My dog bites. My dogs are amazing.
Your dogs are very cute.
That's right. The second type is a dependent clause, also called a subordinate clause, so don't get confused by that. A dependent clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb. Now here's where it gets tricky and it differs from an independent. So we have independent by itself and dependent. That comes from the word depend. It depends on something else. So a dependent clause does not express a complete thought. It therefore is not a sentence and cannot stand alone by itself.
Exactly. So our example for this dependent clause is because I pulled his tail. Okay, so those words obviously sound like something should have introduced it, right? There should have been something that it was coupled with. This cannot stand alone. We don't know what happened because we pulled his tail. So it is not a complete thought. So this example is a dependent clause.
I bet he bit or hissed at you.
Something.
The cat was meaner than a dog would ever be because I pulled his tail.
Well, at least there was good reason for it.
It almost sounded like poetry.
Yeah.
All right, the last one we need to talk about is a sentence fragment. A sentence fragment is a group of words that looks like it could be a sentence and it's wearing a disguise, but actually it's not a complete sentence. Sentence fragments are usually missing a subject or a verb, and they don't express a complete thought and cannot stand alone.
An example of this is running down the stairs and climbing up the curtains. Also, just saying, running down the stairs is something impressive that a dog can do, but climbing up the curtains is just something that rips up all your stuff that a cat would do. You don't want your curtains being ripped up by your cat, do you? Dogs.
I see. I know that you've got several plugs for the dogs today. So in that example, Karosh, running down the stairs and climbing up the curtains, what is missing?
It's missing the subject.
Yeah.
I don't know who ran down the stairs and who climbed up the curtains, meaning this is a sentence fragment. We don't like those. So in the second example I gave, I said the dog ran down the stairs and the cat climbed up the curtains, which would be a complete sentence, but the second sentence fragment doesn't give you who did what. So it just said walked down the stairs, climbed up the curtains. You don't climb down the stairs.
Exactly, and that's a sentence fragment. Good work.
Mm-hmm. Nice work. All right, so we're going to play a little game here. Karosh and Mandy, I need you to grab your pieces of paper and your pen or Sharpie. Would you each please write me 2 independent clauses? Remember, the independent clauses can stand by themselves. And then I also need 2 dependent clauses. So please write 1 independent clause on one piece of paper, 1 independent clause on another piece of paper, and do the same thing for the dependent clauses. And while they're working on that, independent clauses can stand alone. They have a subject, verb, and express a complete thought. They're independent, like Miss Independent. They stand by themselves. They don't need nobody else. They're all complete on their own type of thing. A dependent clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb. It does not express a complete thought, however, it is therefore not a sentence and cannot stand alone by itself. So you guys go ahead and give me a thumbs up when you are done, and we will see how your independent and dependent sentences went along.
I'm excited to see how they mix match. This could be really funny.
I need the Jeopardy music now, I feel like, but.
I'm slow at writing, so Mandy's probably going to be done way faster than me. I still have 2 more slips.
That's all right. Keep going. One other thing that we should tell you about for later is an adjective. We didn't go over what an adjective is, did we? Nope. That is a description. And you will need to know that for an activity that we're going to do later. It describes something. So if I ask for an adjective about a balloon, you might tell me that it is big, or blue, or flying. Nope, flying is an action. Never mind. Don't do that one.
Right, but those other ones are all adjectives.
Mm-hmm. Not flying. How's it going?
I gotta think one last dependent.
All right.
And I'm done. I'm just finished.
Excellent. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have them form sentences together based upon their independent and dependent clauses. So we know that the dependent clause needs to have something attached to it in order to make it a complete thought. We know that our independent clauses could stand alone, but right now we're gonna make them pair up with a dependent clause. So Karosh, go ahead and give me that thumbs up.
I just wrote tortoise.
What?
Tortoise.
That's a hard one.
Tortoise, right?
I gotta write it.
It's like tortoise.
T-O-R-T.
Yep, Tortoise.
O-I.
Danielle, that's correct, right? Tortoise. That's how I remember is tortoise.
Yes. Now that I wrote it down, yes.
One of those things that if you don't write it down, you're kind of like, is that right?
Well, now we know it could be a really interesting sentence about a tortoise.
Yep.
All right, so let's do this. Mandy, will you please pick a dependent clause that you wrote and tell me if it would be at the beginning or the end of the sentence?
Yes. So I chose to write there. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Karosh, you didn't see. Okay. Got it.
Beginning or end?
End.
End. Okay, Karosh, will you please pick an independent clause that you wrote? And you are going to read your independent clause, Karosh, and then Mandy is going to read her dependent clause that comes at the end.
Nice.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Dogs are better than cats.
Therefore, I was satisfied.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, that's funny. Okay, Karosh, will you please pick a dependent clause that you wrote, and will you let me know if it goes at the beginning or the end?
This goes at the end, and it is a cameo of my best friend's pet.
Interesting.
One of my friends is his pet.
Okay, he said it goes at the end. So Mandy, please read us one of your independent clauses, and then Karosh, when she finishes, read your dependent clause.
I ate the delicious cheese.
Because Jeff the tortoise picked his nose.
All right, that's a really interesting one. Okay,
who has a Jeff the tortoise? So.
All right, and who is Jeff the tortoise?
A tortoise named Jeff.
But it's your friend's pet.
What?
It's your friend's pet.
Yeah.
Who's?
Oh, Ben.
Nice.
Ben, your tortoise is now famous with our.
I didn't want to expose him online.
Oh.
I'm just joking.
He's already been in our videos. Check him out. He's in some of the quick fact videos.
True.
All right, Mandy, we need to know if your other dependent clause goes at the beginning or end of the sentence.
End as well.
Okay, Karosh, please read your independent clause that you have not read to us. Mandy, follow with your dependent.
Pianos are cool.
Because she needed them to see.
Yeah.
All right, these are
I use piano to see.
Yeah.
definitely creative.
What
But
about my independent?
all right, and Karosh, does your dependent go at the beginning or end?
And
End. All right, go ahead, Mandy.
She wore big glasses.
though I like phones too.
All right, so those were pretty interesting, and we came up with some good things there, but that gives you kind of a highlight into independent and dependent clauses and how you can have some fun with your friends.
I like that game, Danielle. Thank you for putting that. I liked it. It was
And
fun.
when you're done, you can shoot it like money.
Yeah. Dependent, independent, dependent, independent. Okay. Another thing we are going to learn about today are different types of conjunctions. Remember, Danielle told us that conjunctions are a word or expression that joins sentences, clauses, phrases, or words together.
Okay. Oh, sorry, my computer just shut off. I went into the bottom left corner, which shuts off my computer. I'm just opening it back up.
I can tell them about this one if you would like, Karosh.
No, I'm good. So there are three types of conjunctions and ways to remember them. Examples of for each of them are fanboys, swabbies, and Thanoses. I'm just joking, it's Thamos. And you'll never get Thanos out of your head when you hear that. Each of these acronyms you can use to remember some sort of conjunction in each type. Let's start with fanboys.
So fanboys are coordinating conjunctions. This means that you use a conjunction to form two complete independent thoughts into one major sentence. You'll want to use a coordinating conjunction when you want to give equal emphasis to those two main clauses.
Absolutely. So, Karosh, what does fanboys stand for?
The letters in fanboys stand for, the F stands for, the A stands for and, the N stands for nor, the B stands for but, the O stands for or, the Y stands for yet, and the S stands for so.
All right, so let's all give examples using a coordinating conjunction. I will go first. My cat Blue really loves to go outside to roll around in the dirt, so he always begs to go outside.
Okay, here's mine. I like to have hot coffee in the morning, but in the afternoon, I prefer iced coffee.
Prefer then.
My puppy Dragon is fierce, yet she is still better than cats.
You changed that one up. All right. In our examples, we use the coordinating conjunctions of so, but, and yet. In Danielle's example, there are two complete thoughts that can stand on their own. My cat Blue really loves to go outside to roll around in the dirt. The other independent clause is he always begs to go outside. She combined those and connected them using a coordinating conjunction, so. In my example, I like to have hot coffee in the morning is a complete thought, while my second part, in the afternoon I prefer iced coffee, is also an independent clause. I connected those two complete thoughts and independent clauses together with the coordinating conjunction, but.
In my example, my puppy Dragon is fierce. That can stand alone and is an independent clause. And she is better than cats is also a complete thought. These two independent clauses are combined by using the conjunction yet. What examples can you come up with on your own, Danielle and Mandy?
We already came up with some. That's your challenge to our viewers, so let us know what you come up with using fanboys or your coordinating conjunctions. The next type of conjunction that we're going to talk about are swabbies. Swabbies are subordinating conjunctions. Remember when I told you about the dependent clause? I also told you it's called the subordinate clause, and this cannot stand on its own. Swabbies are usually found at the beginning of a dependent clause.
So the S in swabby stands for since. The W stands for when, the A is although, the B is because, and the I is if.
Yes, so let's go over a few examples of swabbies. I'm going to use the word if. Karosh, if you think you think of one with because, and Danielle, you use the word since. Okay, so here's my example. If it is a nice day tomorrow, I will go for a run.
Here's my example. Because my puppy wanted my attention, she chewed on my face to wake me up. Yet she is still nicer than a cat who would attack your face to wake you up.
That's awesome. Okay, mine would be, since I moved to Arizona 2 years ago, I have made many friends and visited many places.
Those were really good examples for swabbies. So now let's go ahead and go into the last type of conjunction, with is thamos.
Thamos, which I always call Thanos, are conjunctive adverbs. They're special adverbs that connect two independent clauses or sentences.
Thanos, otherwise known as thamos, stands for therefore for the T, however for the H, also for the A, meanwhile for the M, and otherwise for the O.
Mm-hmm.
I see you snapping there. I get it.
Okay. Here are some things to keep in mind. When a thamos interrupts a single thought, place a comma on both sides of the thamos word, so when it's found in the middle. Okay, when a themos falls between two complete thoughts, place a semicolon. That's an impressive punctuation if you're using that. Place a semicolon on one side and a comma on the other. So let's go over a few examples.
All right, so I have one that we can use. The weather really isn't great outside today. Otherwise, I would have gone for a hike.
Nice.
So, Mandy, you can screen share that, and then we can type it out.
Write it out today instead, but I have it here, the first part. Okay, so this is a complete thought, right?
The weather really isn't great outside today.
Good. So now we need a type of punctuation to add that themos, right? So the O is otherwise. So I'm writing a semicolon, otherwise.
I would have
Comma.
for a hike.
I would have gone for a hike.
Mm-hmm.
So the important thing to remember in this punctuation with this themos is that before I added the themos, which was otherwise, I have the semicolon and then it's separated by a comma. Okay, so that's an important thing to remember. All right, so those are really good examples of using themos between two complete thoughts. You can see here how the conjunction is semicolon before otherwise and a comma that I used after.
So I'll give my example. So here's mine. I have read many different manga. However, Dr. Stone is my favorite.
Ditto.
It's really good.
Awesome. So in that example, if it was written out, he has the semicolon before, however, and then a comma before he said Dr. Stone. All right, so my example would be, I ate a large dinner last night. True. Then, to my cat's delight, I fell asleep on the couch and we cuddled. So in that example,
Or she scratched you vigorously as you tried to squeeze her and called it cuddling.
he did not scratch.
That's what cats do.
He does that sometimes. You're exactly right. Yes. So in that example, I have the semicolon after night and before the themos, which was then in this case, then a comma.
Yep. It's important to keep in mind that these acronyms are just some of the examples for the conjunctions that can be used, but there are others that are not on these lists. The acronyms are just there so you can remember a few of them and then figure out the words that are used like them within the English language. So let's have some fun with different parts of speech right now. Mad Libs are a fun way to practice this. I'm not going to tell my friends the topic or anything about the Mad Lib. I just am going to give them the words that I need from them. So guys, if you could, actually you don't need anything. I will just write your words up here as we go along, and we'll just do it that way.
Okay.
So, Mandy, you can go first and give Danielle the words that she asks for, and then I'll do my second.
Okay. Because does the order matter right now?
It is fine. So.
Okay, so you need an adjective from me, right?
I need an adjective. I need a noun. I'm just going to put the abbreviations. I need a plural noun.
Okay.
I need a verb. I need another plural noun. I need another adjective.
Okay.
And then I need one last plural noun.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start with that adjective. My adjective is going to be delightful.
Alrighty.
My noun is going to be monster.
Okay.
My plural noun is going to be lobsters. My verb is going to be shiver. My plural noun is going to be...
Does shiver has one V, right?
Yeah.
Two. One, two.
Verb. Yeah, it should have two. Should have two? Shiver. Shiver. It should have two so that the I is short, but yeah. Okay. All right. Shiver. That's also one of those words that if you don't write it a lot, you're kind of like, Does it follow the rules or not? And then my next one is what? A plural noun?
Yes, plural noun.
Students.
Students.
Then I'm going to go with huge for my adjective. And then I'm going to go with pillows
Pillows.
for my plural noun. All right, Croche.
All right, Karosh, I need from you an adjective, and then a noun, and then an adverb, and then an adjective, and another adjective, and another adjective, it looks like, and a letter of the alphabet.
Okay. For your first adjective, strong. Does that work?
Yes.
That's a good adjective.
Okay. For the noun, I will do. I want something good. It's my own noun.
And it's only
Sausage.
What is it?
Sausage.
All right.
Okay. For my adverb,
Describing.
I know. I need to think of a good one. How about fruitively? Is that one? Is that? I don't even know what that means.
What did you say?
Fast. Just fast.
Fast. Okay.
Another adjective. Impressive. How about? I can't think of any.
You got two more you got to come up with.
Strong, impressive.
What a wonderful.
A feel, like a texture.
Oh.
Here, for the letter of the alphabet, I'll do X.
Oh. I like
Adjective.
describe a feeling.
Rough.
Mhm.
And squishy.
This is gonna be weird.
All right, guys, here we go. Let me pull this up. This Mad Lib is how to study.
Oh, squishy.
So we started with Mandy. Delightful teachers always give out strong assignments. But as everyone knows, if you want to pass all your classes so you can go to a monster and become a president of a big international sausage and have millions of lobsters in the bank, you must do your homework and study fast. If you just sit around and shiver, you won't get ahead in life. You must learn to pay attention to every impressive thing your teacher says. Do not interrupt or whisper to other students. Wow, that one worked. During class. Be sure to have a nice, rough notebook in which you can write down anything the teacher says that seems huge. Then go home and memorize all of these squishy notes. And when your teacher gives a surprise quiz, you will know all of the pillows and will get an X as a grade for the class.
Wow, that was weird.
A very special class. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Now we know how to get 1 million lobsters in our bank accounts.
Thank goodness we know how now.
In case you need that, all those squishy assignments. So that's all we have for you today. Go practice your grammar and let us know if you have any questions. Link below are a ton of resources in games to practice. So make sure you check them out. Mad Libs is a really fun way to practice your different parts of speech. Does anybody have anything else to add for this one?
if you want to do Mad Libs, you could either use like online, or you can just buy actual Mad Lib books, and you could just fill them out. And like, those are good for card trips, those awkward silent card trips. Though those won't be happening right now because no one's leaving the house right now.
That's right.
True.
So
Very
maybe
good.
it could just be a boredom breaker.
Could
They
be.
are fun. All right.
Guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.